Am I the asshole for telling my sister-in-law that her side hustle makes her a bad person? My brother, who's 33, and his wife, who's 30, have 2 little boys, aged 3 and 1. Over the past few years, my wife and I, who have a 5-year-old son, have passed down quite a few of his old items to them. We've given them a crib, clothes, toys, and various other baby items that our son had outgrown or that we no longer needed. These things were just taking up space in our house, and we knew they could make good use of them, so we didn't think twice about handing them over. It felt good knowing that these items, which once served us well, would now be helping out my brother and his family. After all, we're family, and that's what families do, help each other out. A couple of weeks ago, we visited them for their 3-year-old's birthday party. It was a lively affair with kids running around, balloons everywhere, and plenty of food and drinks. It was nice to see everyone together, celebrating another milestone in our nephew's life. During the party, my sister-in-law SIL mentioned something that caught my attention. She started talking about how she's been selling off a bunch of baby stuff as a side hustle. It seemed like a casual remark at first, but as she went on, it became clear that this wasn't just a one-off thing. She had been doing this for a while. She explained that both she and my brother are the youngest in their families, so they receive a lot of hand-me-downs from their siblings. Apparently, they get so much stuff that it's hard to keep track of it all. Her solution to this problem was to start selling off the excess items online. She talked about it in a way that almost seemed like she was proud of herself, like she had found a clever way to make some extra money. She even joked about how she couldn't even remember where half of the items came from, and that some of the things she sold might have been gifts from family members. As she continued, something started to bother me. I realized that there was a good chance that some of the things my wife and I had given them over the years were part of what she was selling, so I asked her directly if she had sold any of the items we had given them. She laughed and said that she was sure she had because we had given them so much stuff. That response didn't sit well with me. I couldn't help but feel that this was a pretty lousy thing to do. These items were given to them as gifts with the understanding that they would be used for their children, not sold off for a profit. So I told her exactly that. I told her that it's a pretty crappy thing to do, considering these items were given to them out of kindness, with the expectation that they would be put to good use. If I had known that she was just going to sell them off, I would have given them to someone else or donated them to a local nonprofit organization that helps young mothers in need. It was clear to me that there were other families out there who could have really used these items, and it didn't feel right to know that they were being sold for a few extra bucks. SIL didn't take my comments well. She got defensive and tried to justify her actions by saying that they're not making a lot of money from selling these things, just a few bucks here and there. She then went on about how hard things are with the economy right now, and how they need all the financial help they can get. She painted a picture of a family struggling to make ends meet, but I knew better. Both she and my brother have college degrees and they work full-time jobs. They're not rich, but they're not in dire straits either. I understood that raising kids is expensive, but I couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't about survival, it was about taking advantage of a situation for financial gain. I tried to make her see my perspective. I told her that the people who are buying these items are likely the same people who would benefit from getting them for free. By selling these things, she's potentially taking away from those who are in real need. It wasn't just about the money, it was about doing the right thing and helping those who are less fortunate. But she wasn't having it. She doubled down on her stance, arguing that selling things they don't use anymore to make a few bucks doesn't make her a bad person. I responded by saying that, considering these things were given to them for free, with the intention of helping them out, it kind of does. I told her that, in the future, she probably shouldn't expect us to give them anything else, and that I might suggest to our other siblings that they refrain from doing so as well. I explained that there are plenty of other options for donating things to people who would genuinely appreciate and use them. At this point, the conversation was getting heated. SIL was visibly upset, and she told me that she doesn't feel like she's doing anything wrong. She was adamant that selling these items was a perfectly reasonable thing to do, especially given the current economic climate. I told her that she's entitled to feel that way, but my opinion of her as a person is now lesser because of this. To me, it wasn't just about the items, it was about the principle. It was about respect for the generosity that had been shown to them, and using that generosity to help others, not to make a quick buck. By this point, our conversation had attracted the attention of others at the party. It was becoming a bit of a scene, and my brother noticed. He stepped in to try to calm things down before they escalated any further. He told me that I should mind my own business and that if I don't want to give them anything else in the future, that's my choice. But he also said that I took it too far by calling his wife a bad person for selling things they don't use anymore. He argued that once they received the items, they were free to do with them as they pleased, whether that meant using them, storing them, or even selling them. I could see where he was coming from, but I still felt that this was about more than just ownership. It was about the intentions behind the gifts and the ethical responsibility to use those gifts in a way that benefits others, especially those in need. But my brother wasn't having it. To him, this was a matter of practicality. They didn't need the items anymore, and selling them seemed like a reasonable way to clear out space and make a little extra money. As we wrapped up the conversation, I couldn't help but feel a sense of disappointment. This wasn't how I had expected the day to go, and it certainly wasn't how I wanted to feel about my brother and his wife. I left the party with a lot on my mind, wondering how this would affect our relationship moving forward. Would this be something we could move past, or had it created a rift that would take time to heal? Only time would tell, but one thing was certain: I wouldn't be giving them anything else in the future. Am I the asshole? Like and subscribe for more daily Reddit stories.